So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. Now in today's video guys, we have some custom tactics, one of the best attacking formations in FC24, this being the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. Now just before we get started guys, as always, I would very much appreciate it if you could drop this a thumbs up, as it does really help me out with the YouTube search algorithm. Also sub to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos. And with all that aside guys, let's get right into the video. If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. Alright then guys, so starting off with the custom tactics for the defensive style, as always we have this on balanced. Now the reason we have it on balanced is because it does give you the best control over your defense. So when you want to be like super aggressive you can, and then when you want to drop back and be a little bit more passive you can also do that. When it comes to applying pressure in this game as well, we can actually use something else which we'll get onto in a moment, so balanced is the way to go in my opinion. Now moving on to the defensive width guys, I prefer a more narrow defense because I feel a lot safer through the middle as I don't leave as many gaps. This does often leave the wings open for opponents to attack, but if you're pretty good at defending those cutbacks, this isn't usually an issue because, you know, you can still marshal them out wide and manually pull a player out and, you know, block stuff. So I think it's better to at least be nice and compact through the middle, because an opponent is going to try and do a cutback regardless of whether you have 37 width or 65 width, you know, so that is why I have that. For the depth guys, this is what I was on about when it came to the pressure in this game. So if you are on the new gen version of FC24 and you have your depth on 71, you'll basically get this automatic press from the AI. The game will pretty much defend for you. It marks every one of your opposition's players. It completely breaks their attacking AI, and the thing with 71 depth as opposed to the pressure tactics is you don't really get a stamina drain either, so you can press like a maniac all game and not really get punished for it. If you are on old gen guys, I would suggest having your depth on about 55 to 60, as this 71 depth thing is new gen only. I have pretty much voiced my opinion many times saying I hate this thing, but at this point guys, if you're not using it until EA fix it, you are handicapping yourself, alright? Moving on to the build-up play guys, we have this on balanced. This is because it gives you the most varied and controlled form of build-up. So when you use balance, you can pick and choose when and where you use each style of build-up. So if you want to start playing slow, you can, and then if you want to switch up and play a little bit faster, you can also do that. So I feel like it gives you the most control, which the other settings don't give you. You can change this, however, if you like. Moving on to the chance creation guys, I have this on direct passing. The reason we have it on direct passing is because it is the most meta option in the game. Direct passing, although pretty boring, is very effective because it is the only setting which will allow you to break that very park the bus defense where all of your opponent's defenders are camped in the box. Direct passing will make your attackers make these initial runs, and then when your opponent's defenders follow them, the attackers will track back so you can cut back to them. So like I said, pretty boring, but very effective, unfortunately. Moving on to the width guys, it is important to up your width in recent times on this game because playing through the middle can be pretty horrendous a lot of the time. So I like to go for a width of 52, so my players are a little bit wider than I would usually have them, but that is obviously because of how this game works with the 71 depth and stuff. But it still allows you to play through the middle when you want to, so it is really nice and balanced, and it's been working quite well for me. Moving on to the players in box guys, I have this on 6. This is a preference thing, but the reason I personally have this on 6 is so I can get quite a few players into the box, but I don't overcommit everybody to the point where I'm going to get counter-attacked if I lose out on possession. And as for the corners and free kicks, this is another preference thing guys. I have these on 2, but you can pretty much do whatever you want with that. Sorry to interrupt the video guys, but I have noticed around 90% of you that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you are enjoying the content or finding it helpful, please consider adding that subscription, as it does help me out massively. Also don't forget to drop a like on the video as well. And with all that aside guys, I hope you enjoy. Let's continue. Now moving on to the player instructions guys, on both of my strikers I like to have them on stay central and get in behind. Now we have them on stay central because I primarily like my strikers to be in the central areas. I don't want them drifting out wide because that is not what they're supposed to do for me. I prefer them to be in the middle so they're always in the correct positions to get the ball and obviously finish off those chances. And when I want to take them out wide, I can do so manually. That being said, if you want to have them on balance width or drift wide, that is completely up to you, but I just have them on stay central. I also have them on getting behind because I think it's very important in the current state of this gameplay, because everybody is using that 71 depth and using very high defensive lines. So getting behind is very useful because it allows them to get in behind that high line and get you as many chances as possible. If this feels a little bit one-dimensional for you, you can put them on mixed attack, which I do sometimes, but I think getting behind is the most meta option at the moment, guys. Now moving on to the cam, guys, sometimes I like to have them on comeback on defense, well, most of the time, because it will make this team defend in a 4-4-2 shape. Other times I prefer to leave him on balanced basic defensive support, but comeback on defense is really useful because it will make this cam come back to defend as a left midfielder, in my case, in a 4-4-2 shape. So the reason the 4-4-2 shape is so good is because it's really good at filling in those gaps which are left out wide with this formation. You can see there is a lot of space out wide with this formation. Just by putting this cam on comeback on defense, it gives you a 4-man midfield, which will give you really good coverage of both the narrow and the wide areas. So comeback on defense, pretty important, but I don't always like to use it. And then get into the box for cross, very important, so this cam is not hesitant to get into the penalty area and help you out. So come back on defense and get into the box for cross on this player. Moving on to the right centre mid, guys, I like to use a more attacking minded player in this position, especially since he won't have to defend as a centre mid, because I explained that the cam will come back to make it a 4-man midfield. So this player will actually defend as a right mid in my case with this cover wing instruction. So cover wing, very important. Get forward and get into the box across. Because this is an attacking player, we do want them to contribute for us. Moving on to the CDM, guys, the more defensive minded player, of course, we have him on stay back while attacking, cut passing lanes and cover centre. Pretty self-explanatory instructions. We don't want this player going forward. We always want him to intercept the passes when available because it will help us regain possession. And then cover centre means he will primarily defend those central areas, which again, very useful, guys. Now moving on to the left centre mid, guys, I would usually use more of a box-to-box style player, but I've actually been enjoying using Bernardo Silva here because of his high work rates. So this player is going to be more of like a box-to-box, somebody that will attack and defend. So I suggest the default settings on this player and then cover centre. The default settings, obviously, because we don't just want to restrict him to defending all the time, and then cover centre means they will defend those central areas. Moving on to the fullbacks, guys. On the left back, my more attacking fullback, I have balanced overlap. This is because the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow is obviously still quite a narrow formation, so this will give us a wider option when we're going forward, which is really useful because it helps stretch out that opponent's defensive line and gives you much more opportunities in attack. So balanced overlap on your more competent fullback, in my opinion. Moving on to the other fullback, guys, I have them on stay back and overlap. This is so we always have at least 3 defenders back at a time, but when we send this player on a run forward like the other fullback, he'll make the overlapping runs to add that extra width. For the 2 centre backs, guys, I leave them alone, and the goalkeeper, I leave them alone, but you can have them on comes for crosses and sweeper keeper if you would like. But yeah, guys, that is basically it for the video. If you have enjoyed or found it useful, please be sure to drop it a like, as it does really help me out. Sub to the channel if you are new, and don't forget to turn on notifications. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out, guys.